Pure, undefended love transforms all of the most important aspects of life. Everything we do today is to serve that point. Friday night, we had an incredible celebration, and it was exactly my dream. It was about 7 minutes of program, and the rest was dance. And that's what I wanted. I just wanted to have a good time with y'all. And I got to praise up some. I mean, there's many people, but before you leave today, you walk around, you see all of what these puffy things are. They're all over the tables. And our sweet Maggie Perez, where are you, Maggie? Stand up just a second. Maggie took my dream and she demonstrated it so beautifully. And every table centerpiece was to celebrate something that our outreach team has done. So not only do we get to enjoy the beauty of these, they're a demonstration of the work that this community has done. What a good and beautiful thing. Thank you, God, for that. And I said something the other night, and I'm going to say it again, and then I'm going to be saying it again, and then I'm going to be saying it again. And you all, some of you have been coming here for a long time, right? You're having a good time. You like what you get, right? Some have taken classes. Not enough of the individuals in these seats have taken classes as far as I'm concerned. But what I want you to know is even though we have done what we have done, we are not done yet. And let me tell you why. For everyone living in fear, you and I have to do more work. See, because they don't know the work that they have to do. So we have to do the work, so we walk and we model possibility. Anybody know anyone living in fear? Mm-hmm. Anyone who's ever been heartbroken? Anybody here ever been heartbroken? Do you know anyone who's heartbroken? So for those people, or for you, we have more work to do. For those of you who live under or have lived, or if you know of someone who's lived under a roof of abuse, we have work to do. We have work to do. We have healing to do. We have forgiveness to do, and that's what the No Mud, No Lotus workshop is about. Because forgiveness is at the foundation of everything. For those who were taught that their religion, by their religion, that heaven and hell and damnation was the only way to go, we have work to do. You and I have work to do. And all other varieties of individuals who are not experiencing a potent life. Do you know anybody who's barely getting along? Or they're not quite getting along? Anybody? Know anybody? For those people, we have work to do. I was graced this week to receive an email from a client, and I have to be very, discreet here, thank you. A client of one of our practitioners who raved about this practitioner and the work that this practitioner does and how this practitioner basically is saving their family. That's what you and I are here to do. Yes, yes. Even though you don't know who it is, just do that. They know who they are. We have choices. And sometimes we forget that we have a choice. But love is a choice. Fear is a choice. Peace is a choice. Freedom is a choice. I just spent 3.5 days down in Asheville, North Carolina at a ministers' gathering. And I would like to say I wish you all were here, but you can't because you're not ministers. However, that same consciousness can be in any room where enough conscious people have gathered. And I did something so phenomenal this week, it changed my life. I walked on fire. I walked on fire. And if Joe Schneider was here, he'd give me one of those Joe Schneider looks and says, oh, there's a science, and it's this, and it's that. I'm sorry. You step up to the heat of that fire. Any science goes out. Your faith in your heart is what carries you across those 1,200 degree coals. The fire, so we come together and we built this fire. And the fire, when it starts, when it's burning down, is somewhere about 1,850 degrees. It goes down to 1,200 degrees. And then, I'm telling you, I was terrified, sobbing before we went, sobbing. I got this thing about fire. I thought, I think it was one of the reasons why I was originally avoiding going to that conference, because there was no way in hell you were going to get me even that close, right? So I wound up there, and I'm crying, and they're processing, and I'm listening, and I'm feeling what I'm feeling, and it's moving through me. And the Reverend Dr. John Waterhouse took us through this precious process. And he had these little pieces of material, literally about yo big, and we had sacred tobacco, which is very common for the indigenous cultures of the United States even, to use this for ceremony. And so we had 7 different pieces of material, all representing the 7 directions: the north, the south, the east, the west, the above, below, and within. And so the job was to take each prayer flag, these little things, they look like mini prayer flags, to put the tobacco in, to pray over them for what that direction represented, to hold it against our heart, to pray, and then to let that carry us. Well, during the prayers, that's when I remembered that fear was a choice. Do you understand? Fear is actually a choice that you don't have to subscribe to. Are you hearing me? I know it doesn't sound real, or it might not. You might think it's just a reaction, it's just the way it is. I'm telling you, fear is a choice, and I got to remember it while in that prayer. So, it didn't mean I gleefully grazed across. I still had a piece of my humanity in place. But I transformed so much that all of those emotions that were pouring out of me dulled down to where I went, oh, I have a choice here and I can do this. So then we go out, and the plan is also too, and this is what they say, you don't know if you're going to walk until you're standing before the fire. The fire tells you if you want to walk. So I'm waiting, and we're singing, there's song going on, there's like 100 people about to do this. Ish. And I think I'm ready. Some people were trying to nudge me up a little bit. I'm like, I got this, And I go up to the fire, and I turned around. You want to know what I did? I forgot, and I looked at the fire. You can't look at the fire. We can't look at the problem and get to the other side. We have to be focused on the other side. And I forgot, even right there, I forgot. You and I cannot look at what we don't want and get to what we do want. Ever. Ever. Our focus and our attention must be in place. So now I'm standing there. I'm all worked up a little bit. I'm like, oh. Now, of course, they cheered for me as much as they had cheered for anybody who also walked, because that was the agreement. We want everyone to be supported in their decision. So I'm standing there, and this sweet man, this elder of the community, the minister community, Reverend Dr. Mitch Johnson, who I just had a little quick meal with. I barely know the man. I really do. He walked up to me, and he said, you want me to hold your hand? And it's because some people had done that. And I looked at him, and I went, yeah. Because I knew that at that moment, that place of surrender and being willing to ask for help and receive help, which so many of us are so goddamn stubborn about in this teaching. You're so stubborn. I watch you suffer alone. It makes me crazy. It's so unnecessary. Suffering is unnecessary, because you know what suffering is? It's another choice. It's another choice. So he said that, and I said yes, and then we walk up to the fire. Right before I'm ready to go, Reverend John has to re-rake the coals. I'm like, oh, thank you very much. Because they do want a flat surface. You don't want, dibs. And I looked down at the fire again. I forgot. And he went like this, boom. And he blinded me, Reverend Mitch. And he says, don't look at the fire. I went, right, don't look at the fire. Don't look at the fire. I went, okay. And he's finished raking, and he took his hand off my eyes. And I walked, and I felt nothing but crunch. I felt no heat. And I went into Dr. John's arms and sobbed like a baby. No matter how pretty I did it, no matter how pretty I didn't do it, I did it. I did it. And people, we've got to remember in these times, these times when homes are being challenged, when the weather is what it is, when the political system is what it is, we have to remember that all of our attitudes, all of our focus is a choice. It's a choice. We have to choose our focus. So let me tell you something, because I've been with you. I've been with some of you. Not all of you have wanted to go down this road, and I honor you. I have been pissed off and bitching and moaning about the political climate. I have been. I'm coming out to you. I haven't been pretty behind the scenes. I'm not doing it anymore. I am not having that interrupt my potency. I'm not, no more. Because I can't. Everyone who I think of must have safe passage through my mind. Because when they don't have safe passage through my mind, it interrupts the flow of power. So when we're connected to spirit, when we're in criticism and we're in judgment and we're condemning anyone, no matter how right you think you are, that condemnation cuts you off from your source of power. And if you want to be who you say you want to be, you have to have safe passage for everyone in your mind and in your heart. Everyone. Every politician, every every minister, everyone who has ever harmed you must in some way have safe passage. Not an easy task, I know. I know. So we're going to do something a little different today. We're going to take a moment. No one move yet. We're going to do something today because I want you to be able to touch your heart today in this conversation about undefended love. Because we have fear and we have love. Thank you, darling. And I know that sometimes you go home into your lives and you forget. Anybody forget? Anybody get a little distracted by the pains and the discussions and the paycheck that isn't quite right or the worry? I understand. I'm as human as you are. I just have to do this more readily than everyone else because it's what I'm called to do. So what I'm going to ask you to do today, what I'm going to give you an opportunity to do today is to go into circles. Every circle is being guided by either a practitioner or an individual who I have asked to do this. With those individuals facilitating circles, please.